As you can tell from the title of this video, this isn't going to be the most happy video for the Evo. So before we get into all that, how about we reflect on some better times with the Evo, and I'll throw it back to some footage of my first few pulls that I did here in Florida when I got the car here. I just found the footage. I never posted it or edited it, so here you go. Obviously, the Evo's in Florida now. Ooh, there it is again. It's getting worse and worse now. Glad that the AYC noise I was hearing was shown in the last clip. It comes in and out. It's not every time that you're turning, or it'd be like easy to replicate, which is honestly leading me to believe that it is the pump, because it wasn't every time before. It was here and there, and now it's becoming more often. Like the pump is just straight up bad now. So now you guys know what that noise is if you heard it before. Oh my god, I love this car. Now with the fluid change in the transmission, it is easier to double clutch now. Before it was still grinding whether you double clutched it or not, because third, we think just the synchros are bad, which is unfortunate, but at least now with fresh, thick transmission fluid, at least now there's a way to prevent it from super grinding all the time. So that is definitely a good thing. And weirdly, the car is running so good here in Florida. I thought the tune would be all whack because it's a completely different environment, with all the humidity here, the temperature as well. I mean, that's a massive, massive difference. But luckily, the car is running great. Back to the present day. Here she is. Poor thing has been sitting here for a while. Man, I miss driving this car so much. Poor thing. As I mentioned in the video driving the car, we still need to diagnose the active yaw control AOIC issue we're having in the back. I really do think it's the pump that's going bad, or is bad. It's going in and out, as you could hear the noise in that previous video of me driving the car. But Adam ended up deleting that from his car, so he thinks he has a spare one that was working beforehand somewhere in the shop. So after the car is up and running again, I'm definitely going to dig into that and diagnose it, and hopefully I just need to swap pumps and Adam already has one, because that would be sweet. Back to the problem. So sad. I'm going to pop the hood first and then show you guys. Long story short, Adam broke my car. Kind of, in a roundabout way. Not directly, but I say that because it sounds more dramatic. So, unfortunately, the Evo has been down with a blown turbo. Now, not only did this happen while Adam was instigating me at a stoplight in the yellow FD, but this turbo has only been running on the car for the amount of time that I drove it. So I drove it when I was in Connecticut, and then I drove it for a little bit here in Florida, and it blew up already. And Adam sold that Evo 9 turbo to Grant, who never got it running on the car because the car was never running, and then I inherited it. So technically, Adam sold me a bad turbo. Not cool. So like I said, roundabout way, Adam broke my car. So that was unfortunate. It is actually seized really bad, but there shouldn't be any engine damage. I didn't drive with it long like this, but I don't know if you can see in there. It doesn't spin at all. Like not even, nope, not even the tiniest bit of play. Like solid, will not move. Rip. Sad. Because of that, I have not been driving my car, and that is the reason for the lack of Evo content. I've been trying to source a different turbo that bolts in just like the stock one, but they're currently out of stock of the parts to build them. So then I ended up just sourcing another Evo 9, just stock turbo. That way, at least we don't have to do any retuning. I can get to driving as soon as possible until this other turbo comes in, and that should be arriving in the next day or so. So that's the good news. Good news is it's going to be up and rocking very soon. Today, I'm just going to get started on fixing the car and take the old turbo out and kind of see what the damage is, see how bad it is, and just check it out. Save myself some work when the new one gets here, since it will be here soon. I still just think it's so funny that Adam sold this Evo 9 turbo to Grant. So Grant, not cool. Call him out. Call him out, Grant. Oh yeah, before I get too far into the video, I know I look really different. I know I look like a completely different person right now. And it's because I can say this. I can do this. Okay. It's because this is the very first video that I'm filming while being 27 years old. That is so weird for me to say that. But yeah, your girl just had a birthday yesterday. So I am 27 years old, and I turned 27 on the 27th. That is the only time that'll ever happen in my life. So that's cool. 27 just sounds so much older than 26. I feel like 26 is like, oh, she's 26. Cute. Like 26, young. Got your whole life ahead of you. And 27 is just like, oh dang, you're almost 30. Another year wiser, as they say. I just turned 27, so if I look very different, that is why. Alright, I'm gonna take the radiator out first, and then that should give me access to get all the turbo stuff out. Homies at Mishimoto, what's up? I made a little bit of a mess. I'll clean that up. So one thing that isn't the best is that the water in the radiator is so rusty. Like it was, when it first was coming out, it was bad, yo. I'm now gonna have to make sure that I flush the water through here because look at this. Oh God. That is so much rust. Ugh, gross. One more thing to add to the to-do list. All right, now I have a lot easier access to everything. I marked my MAC valve lines just so those don't get switched up when we put everything back in. So now I'm just gonna start taking the turbo out. These are so tight. I'm being good. I'm labeling everything as I go. I normally don't do this, and I'm trying to start some good habits. All right, all the lines are disconnected. Got our MAC valve lines disconnected and labeled. Water lines labeled, disconnected, and oil lines. I can actually show you how bad it is a lot better now. So like, I'm pushing as hard as possible. No movement whatsoever. Dang. So I think I just have to take these last two bolts on top off, but before I do that, I'm gonna disconnect the 2 or 3 on the downpipe and then end up taking off the housing just outside the car. I think it'll be a lot easier to get to all the bolts, and everything's been soaking in WD-40s. Oh, and I gotta unclip this guy too. Was so anticlimactic. I forgot about the oil line on the bottom too. I think there's just 2 10s holding it in. I thought that was gonna be a fast thing, but the 2 bolts that you need to disconnect, I just ended up taking them off from the pan because I had no room to get it off of the turbo with it in there, and just taking it off from the pan was easier, but it took forever. It says like 20 minutes later, and had to use a wrench and be very, very patient. That is finally off. Oil line disconnected from the pan. So now we can take the turbo out. Too, why there wasn't a fan in the car, and that's because I had initially borrowed Adam's and then I ordered one for myself, so he took his back, and when I reinstall everything I'll be adding in my fan as well. All right, turbo is out, and now we're gonna see just how bad the damage is. Is there blade in the back? Is it gone? Is it disintegrated? I don't know. Let's find out. Not bad. I still have the wheel on the other side, which that could have been disintegrated, so that is a pleasant surprise. It wouldn't have mattered anyway if it was exploded, but still. To be fair, right when like I felt the power loss, it's not like I kept driving the car, so very minimal damage. I was thinking that wheel was gonna be disintegrated, but he's still there. It's obviously seized as well though. Yeah, it doesn't move at all, not even a little bit, which is weird because normally like I feel like it would still move if it was seized, like if you really tried, but this is just not moving at all. And I am getting a new O2 housing from MA Performance. I've gotten a lot of bits and parts from them. So I'll be having that. So I'm gonna put that on when the new Evo 9 Turbo gets here as well. It should be in a day or so. I know it was put in the mail last week. So any day now I should have my new turbo so I can finally get the Evo up and running again, which I'm really excited about. And I have so much cosmetic stuff that is ready to be done to the car as well. So a lot of exciting things coming up for the Evo. And is this my only daily I'm actively building on the channel right now? I think so. Yeah, so once this thing's up and running, I'm gonna be driving it like every day, and I was before the turbo went. And oh, shout out and thank you too to Entice Motorsports coming through from California for the Evo now, not just the RH7. John's the one that's actually sending me another stock Evo 9 Turbo. When I install that, I'll give you guys more details of my future plans with the turbo. So the one I'm doing now is kind of just a temporary solution, so I don't have to get anything retuned while my other one is being made. But more info on that later. In the next Evo video, hopefully we'll be starting her up again.